after which the Planning Commission will deliberate and render its decision. Development plans require a public hearing to provide the public an opportunity to express opinions. However, a vote by the Planning Commission should not be taken. Planning Commission members will, with a personal financial interest in any petitioner's request, are required to recuse themselves. If a motion to deny a request is made, a reason must be given. Members of the Planning Commission: Ann Clemens, Frank Cook, Reggie Dunn, Buddy Hardwick, Cruz Reeves, James Reed, and Garrett Smith. Members of the land use staff are Warren Adams, Tanya Ingram, Carol Ann Pinkston. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from May 25th, 2024?
Move to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Unanimous.
Thank you.
All right, there are no changes to the agenda tonight, so item number 1 is J.M. Garrett representing Jeff, I don't know how to pronounce that, a request to rezone 3 parcels of land on the southeast corner of Lower Wetumpka Road and East Vandiver Boulevard from B2 and R65D to a B2 district.
Good afternoon. My name is Frank Garrett, and I'm representing the owner there. We have decided that we would like to withdraw our request for rezoning of that area. We know we're not going to get it, so we might as well withdraw.
All right.
We still would like to have hear the plat.
Okay, let me read that off. J.M. Garrett representing Jeff, requesting final approval of Jeff P. Plat number 1 on the southeast corner of Lower Wetumpka Road and East Vandiver Boulevard, and B2 and R65D districts.
So you withdraw.
You just want to replat it. That's all you want to do?
Yeah, we have 3 lots
Okay.
that we would like platted.
Is that item, which item is that on the agenda?
Number 1.
Number 2.
Number
He
2.
withdrew
Two.
number
The
1.
plat is number 2.
Okay, that's what I thought, okay. Number 2, okay. I don't have a problem with a replatting.
That's the 3 lots.
Is there any questions from the commission? Any questions from the audience?
Move to approve.
Is there a motion in order?
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
6.
All those opposed?
1. Motion passes. Number 3,
Thank you.
Jeffcoat
Thank you.
Engineers and Surveyors representing Weldon Doe, requesting final approval of Weldon Doe Plat number 2 on the east side of Federal Drive, approximately 50 feet south of Coliseum Boulevard in the B2 district.
I'm Guthrie Jeffcoat with Jeffcoat Engineers and Surveyors in Montgomery. And I'm here representing the property owners, Bonnie Chris Company, and Mr. Weldon Doe, on plat number 2. This property has never been platted, and there's some business decisions that need to be made, and it's required in order, and the title people are requiring that this property be platted, because it never has been. So it's, we got one of the lots has a cell tower on it. One of them has 2 buildings with a barbecue restaurant and I forgot what the other shop is, but it's 2 separate buildings
Detail shop.
on the other lot number 2. And we would like to have your affirmative action today if possible. Try to answer the question. I do have Mr. Weldon Doe Fourth with me if there's any questions you need of him, but I'll try to handle as much of it as I can myself.
Is there any questions from the Planning Commission? Any questions from the audience? Motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Unanimous.
Second.
Thank you.
Number 4, Ray and Gilliland, representing Henry Graham, requesting final approval of MRP Plat Number 1 on the east side of Mitchell Young Road, approximately 200 feet south of Well Road in the M1 district.
I'm John Smith, CCI Planning and Engineering, and Henry Graham and Jim Ray and Ray again couldn't make it today. Really just here to answer any questions regarding.
What was your address?
509 Hampton Drive, Birmingham, Alabama.
Thank you. Any questions from the Planning Commission? Any questions from the audience? Motion's in order.
Move to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 5, Larry Speaks and Associates, representing Enterprise Rent a Park, public hearing for a development plan for an additional building to be located at 185 Eastern Boulevard in a B2 district.
Hi, Paul McClendon with Larry Speaks and Associates, and on behalf of Enterprise Rent-A-Car and Mr. James Shin, we are presenting a development plan for a 1,332 square foot, basically it's a vacuum canopy that we use for employees, keep them out of the weather. They'll have their air compressors and vacuums and carpet cleaners.
Could you speak into the mic? Could you speak into the mic?
Pull that microphone up.
So basically the canopy will usually be out there to keep their employees out of the weather, so that when they're vacuuming cars between rentals, they're a little bit protected. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions from the Planning Commission?
So this is only to put the canopy out? This is to put the canopy portion?
That's correct. They're just putting a canopy over some of their existing parking spaces.
Any further questions from the Planning Commission? Any questions from the audience? A public hearing's been held.
Item number 6, Cedric Campbell with Goodwood Mills Kaywood, representing Baptist South Medical Center ER. Public hearing for development plan for an addition to the building located at 2105 East South Boulevard in an O2 district.
Good evening, Planning Commission. I'm Cedric Campbell with Goodwood Mills and Kaywood on behalf of Baptist Health, here to present this item. There's a critical need for additional emergency department room space in the city at this time, and Baptist is trying to fill that need and also improve the vehicular circulation around the emergency department.
Any questions from the Planning Commission? Any questions from the audience? A public hearing's been held.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 7, Haskell Architects and Engineers, representing Project South. Public hearing for development plan for a building to be located at 310 Wasden Road in the M3 district. Mr. Smith, you don't have to have a representative here, but you can ask if they have questions.
Planning Commission have any questions? Any questions from the audience? A public hearing's been held.
Item number 8, Tim Minor, representing Taco Bell. Public hearing for development plan for a new building to be located at 10 Wasden Lane in a B2 district.
It's Tim Minor with Tacala, which is Taco Bell franchisee, 3750 Corporate Woods Drive, Mississippi Hills, Alabama. Here on their behalf to construct a new Taco Bell.
Pull that microphone down just a little bit towards you.
To construct
Thank
a new Taco Bell in Oklahoma.
Are you going to build a Taco Bell at that location?
Sir?
Are you going to build a Taco Bell at that location?
Any questions from the Planning Commission? Any questions from the audience? Public hearing's been held. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 9, Grady Hicks, representing the same request to rezone property containing 8.0 acres located on the west side of Wetumpka Road, across from Stokes Road from R50 to an M3 district.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Grady Hicks, and here to represent myself on this piece of property. I currently have joining property, and then I've got a little building here we want to turn into an office, and I have a company that does a little truck driving school, and that's what we'd like to do here on this piece of property. And also maybe store some 18-wheeler trailers.
So is it gonna, are you changing it to an office?
No, so we got two houses on there, and just looking at the thing, we want to leave them residential. There's a little shed off to the right of that, that you see right there to the north side of that house. We're just going to turn it into a little 900 square foot office and use the stuff that you see there, that the property was already got the asphalt millings down. I just figured while I was doing it, just try to get the whole piece zoned for that. The left side over there, I don't have any future plans right now for it. It's just a pasture field, but while it was one parcel, I just want to try to get it, go ahead and get it zoned for that in case future development I want to do something.
I know what the notes say.
And currently, we didn't have about 75 or 80 salvage cars out there now. We've kind of gotten out of the salvage business, and across the road, we lease that to a company called LKQ that's in the salvage business.
Is anybody from the zoning says the planning department objects?
Robert Smith could not make it to the meeting tonight, but he did note that the planning department objects. The rezoning request is not consistent with Envision Montgomery 2040.
And one of the comments was, you're going to expand the junkyard?
No, so we're actually trying to get out of the salvage business. Actually, we're trying to fix a place to, and we fixed to build a pole barn out there for some storage of some things and some truck parking. I've got a couple different companies through Hodges that's trying to get us set up to lease. One's a 5-acre piece and one's an 8-acre piece of what we currently got to store some 18-wheeler trucks and some trailers. So that's what we're trying to do, and I needed that piece that joined the rest of mine. We actually have been using that for the last probably 7 or 8 years for the same use, and I didn't realize it wasn't zoned this. And when I come to try to take that little building and turn it to an office where this truck driving school would like to have a little office and practice their truck driving right out there on that asphalt milling so they're not out on the road. And that's when I said I'd come down here and try to get it zoned for the proper thing. So it'll be, all that will be joined in the same.
Are the trucks going to be stored temporarily or permanent?
No, they will be temporary. The truck driving school only has 2 active running and driving trucks if they come in and do it. And this company I'm talking with on the 18-wheeler trailers, they lease them out. They need a site that you can get to in bad weather and 24/7, so to speak, because we've got our ground out there with what they call asphalt millings, where it's real easy to park, so the landing gears and all don't fall out of sight. And then at times it could be 5 trucks, or it could be, trailers, could be 30. They don't know because they keep them leased out, and that's one company we're talking to.
So at the end of the day, you're really just expanding your business is what's happening.
Do what, sir?
I don't know if this thing I said at the end of the day, what you're doing is just expanding your business.
Correct. At the end of the day, what I'm doing is just my property that I've got zoned now. If you see, the partial that separates the red line there, that we just add on to what we already got is all we're doing. And we actually been, like I said, you see cars on that property now there. I just never did realize it, didn't have any use to ever really, I've owned it so many years, never had an issue to see what zoning was on it. So that's all we're doing, just taking the adjoining property, like what you said, just connecting the adjoining property. And leaving the houses residential, but somebody come along and say, hey, I'd like to use that house for an office or convert it to an office, and I need a place to park, I need 3 acres to park some trucks or trailers, or there's people calls me all the time on like a little storage lot or just a place to store stuff.
Is this trucking school the same one that was approved last week by the Board of Adjustments over on Millard Fuller?
It is, sir. I've been leasing to him for about 8 months, and he didn't have the stuff right over on that building at 955 Millard Fuller Drive. This particular one is him, and he would like to stay there because he don't have to get on the roads. And over at that 955 Millard Fuller Drive, probably as y'all are aware, the city is just to put a road through there that I'm allowing them to for the people, the neighborhood to come in and out. So we'll probably release that building to somebody else over there instead of the truck driving school, if I get this approved and get him out there. So what he's doing right now is parking the trucks there and using the building over there as his office. The little blue building that's over there, it's about I think it's a 1,500 square foot building. And he don't never have many at a time. I think just 1 or 2 people at one time when he does do the school.
Any further questions from the Planning Commission? Any questions from the audience? Motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
4.
All those opposed?
Can I, and who made that motion?
I did.
But when you make that motion and add a Q to it, to where we know that it's not gonna be an expansion of the junkyard?
If he'll accept it.
Mr. Hicks?
What now? I couldn't hear you, sir.
Well, what we wanna do is, and what I wanna do, I would like to see it Q, meaning that you're gonna do exactly what you say you're gonna do and not expand the salvage yard.
Yeah, that'll be fine, or really, I mean, I don't have to have that pasture to the left, but yeah, my intention is not to have, we've crushed all of our cars. If you look at a current picture, we didn't have about 100 cars out there. We're trying to get into something else. I'm just trying to get into something rental, and I know a lot of these places in the city is complaining about trucks parking in parking lots and tearing parking lots up, and I just feel like I've got a good spot out there to get off the road with that asphalt milling down on all that property out there, that we just have a good spot for, and a profitable something to store and to park stuff like that. That's all we're trying to do.
Okay, so, but if you...
That's fine with me. If it's fine with you.
So
if that statement is fine with you, Reggie, you want to give him what you want?
Basically, we would like to cue it, which means that you can't do nothing but what you say you're going to do. In other words, you can't expand your salvage yard.
But you're really talking about a junkyard, right?
Right.
And you're saying it won't be a junkyard in
As long as we can cure it to where we know that it ain't gonna be the expansion of the salvage yard, I have no problem.
Yeah, I just need it, yeah, I guess as long as it's still all zone, I guess I'm zone, what, M3? Yeah. To do that with, yes, that's all, yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay.
Now, I still have that 16 acres that joins that, it's still zone salvage yard. I don't want to do nothing to change that zoning, but this will be fine. That's all we need for the truck and their parking, what we're trying to do.
What did you say it was, Brady? What did you say? What did you just say was zone?
The 16 acres. If you'll go back and look at the north part right there, where you see all the cars at. Go back now.
Yeah.
See where all them cars at?
Yeah.
See, I bought that place about 9 years ago. That was called Foreign Auto Salvage, and I've always owned the piece of property that I'm trying to get zoned here. But we've cleared it off about 9 years ago when I bought all that, and probably up until the last 2 years, we had about 3,000 cars. I even had cars all the way up where you see them little cars by the grassy area. We had that whole area filled up with cars and stuff, and we're just getting out of that. But that zone, the 16 acres, is the salvage. I wouldn't want to do nothing to harm that zone into that.
So. Reggie,
so that Q would just only affect what he's trying to do right now. I mean, we won't be, it's got nothing to do with your other 16 acres.
Yeah, okay, I was just making sure, that's fine, if we just get this.
Have y'all got that Q? Okay. All right, can you read it back to us so we know what we're voting on?
Y'all want to have it zone M1Q restricting or no expansion of the auto salvage or junkyard to this property.
Is that acceptable to you? Is that acceptable to you?
Yes, so that allow me to do something I want with parking of 18-wheelers or something along those lines.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we fine with that.
All right, go
If
ahead and
something
take a
would-
vote.
yeah.
All right,
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Unanimous.
It's approved. Thank you.
Hey, thank y'all. If y'all have any questions, anything we doing out there, just call me or I'll meet y'all out there, anybody to go over anything we need to go over.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, Pilgrim and Bostic Engineering representing United Heating and Air. A public hearing for a development plan for a building to be located at 840 Roy Hodges Boulevard in the M1 district.
My name is Taylor Manning with Pilgrim and Bostic, representing United Heating and Air for this development plan.
What's that address?
10270 Highway 80 East.
Thank you. Any questions from the Planning Commission? Any questions from the audience? Public hearing's been held. Thank you.
Next item, Pilgrim and Bostic Engineering representing Fresh Greens. A public hearing for development plan for a new building to be located at 650 Clark Street in a B2 district.
go ahead.
My name is Taylor Manning with Pilgrim and Bostic Engineering, here we're representing the owners for 650 Clark Street for this development plan.
Any questions from the Planning Commission? Any questions from the audience? Public hearing's been held. Thank you.
Next item, Flowers and White Engineering representing Daniel Builders LLC requests final approval of Thornton Trace number 8 on the north end of Trace Oak Lane in a PUD district.
Good evening, I'm Kenneth White with Flowers and White Engineering. The first item here is just a final plat request for continuation of Thornton Trace subdivision. It creates 23 residential lots in a PUD district. I can entertain any questions if you have any.
So the lot's gonna be R50s, basically?
It's PUD, that's correct. Yeah, they're PUD, it's a PUD zoning, but that's correct, Mr. Reed. They'll be 50-foot wide lots.
Any further questions from the Planning Commission? Any questions from the audience? Motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion.
I'll second.
We have a second. All those in favor?
Unanimous.
Thank you.
Next item, Flowers and White Engineering representing Shirley Jones request approval of a revised master plan for property located on the west side of Taylor Road at the intersection of Park Crossing in a PUD district.
Thank you, Tanya. So, if y'all remember this property last week, Mr. Reed shaking his head. So, we presented this last month. It was originally approved for 75-foot wide lots. We were proposing 50-foot lots at the time. After listening to y'all's request, we went back and y'all wanted to have them a little bit wider, so we proposed a 65-foot box product in lieu of the 50 that I was asking. And then, Mr. Reeves, you also wanted to increase the side yard setbacks from 5, so we were proposing 7-foot wide side setbacks with the 65-foot wide product. So, again, I can answer any questions, but we took y'all's comments and tried to implement that in the revised.
Say that again on the side yard.
Yeah, so Mr. Reed, originally it was approved, it was 5-foot side setback, side yards. And I believe one of your comments where you wanted to have a little bit more side setback, so we increased it to 7 foot. So it went from 10 foot between structures to 14 foot between structures. So just try to get a little bit more side setback like you requested.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the total amount of houses or yards, it was going to be 590 something, and now it's down to 478.
That's correct. It was upper 500s. That's right, Mr. Reed. We lowered it over $100. That's correct.
Yeah. I have another question for you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you got 133 lots for 40 feet.
Yes, sir.
Those lots are at
On the north side.
of the north side of that. But you can't access that from the lots that are 65 feet.
So their access from Malcolm Drive to the north.
I know. I know. But you can't access it from the 65 feet lots there. Well, let me ask you this. Will the people that's in the 40-foot lots, will they have access to the amenities?
Yeah, there'll be pedestrian access. They're a part of the HOA of the community. That's correct. So they'll have access to the amenity side and the ponds.
But they have to drive all the way around, come down Taylor Road, and then go in.
Well, like I said,
according to what this,
that's
to
right.
what I'm looking at.
There's no vehicular access. That's correct. There'll be pedestrian access to the subdivision. That's correct.
They gotta walk to the clubhouse.
So you're gonna have a pedestrian access from the 40-foot lots to the amenities, and they're gonna have to come all the way up those other streets and through somebody's yard and all of that?
Well, it'll be a pedestrian. We'll have a pedestrian access. It won't go between someone's house. We wanted to have a separate area for the different product types, and that was what was proposed to us. Would you like to entertain any connection, or you want to entertain any connection between the two products? I mean, it's preferable the way we proposed it, but I mean, it's.
But you don't see a problem with that?
Well, yes.
Well,
Have the owner come up.
it might not be a problem to you, but I mean, if a person bought a 40-foot lot on that north side, and in order to get to the amenities, which is all the way down to southeast, they got to get in their car, drive all the way around, come down Taylor Road, and then go to the amenities site. Or walk down there, which is about, I don't know, whether it's a half a mile, 3/4 of a mile, or whatever. But you don't see anything wrong with that?
Well, I mean, like I said, they have access to it. We can, entertain that. It's just, we wanted to have two separate products, because that's adjacent to some apartments.
No, I understand. No, I understand that part. But I mean, they're backed up together. I mean, they're together. The 65-foot is really backed up, the 40-foot backed up to the 65, whatever. They're right there together, but the 40-foot homeowners will not have access unless they can get in their car and come around. That's all I'm asking.
Valid question.
Makes sense.
Yes, sir. I'm Chris Franks with D.R. Horton.
Microphone.
I'm sorry. I'm Chris Franks with D.R. Horton. On most larger developments like that, most people do get in their home, in their car to go to the amenity anyway. I see your point. That's just the way we laid it out. I understand what you're saying, but that's typically, most people will have to drive to an amenity anyway. They wouldn't walk that far.
So you don't see a problem with it either?
Sir?
I said, so you don't see a problem with it either, with my point that I'm trying to make?
No, that's right. I don't see a problem. I understand what you're saying. Well, we can put it.
We have the job over there and get a bump out.
Mr. Reed, you see where Street C is right there?
Street
C, right there next to the 40-foot wide lot product to the west. To the west of the 40-foot wide lot label. You see Street C on the north side in the 40-foot?
I don't see C. I see A, B, D.
Cross street. Yeah, between B and D. Do you see it right there?
Yeah, Street C. Yeah.
could we propose to entertain to extend Street C to Street E and have that connection point? Would that be something that y'all might entertain?
That would make sense to me, especially
think-
if I bought a house every 40, with a
I
40-foot lot.
think we're fine. You make a valid point, Mr. Rowe. I get it. I didn't really think about it from the driving standpoint. And we can do that. We can extend C down to E. It'll delete, a couple lots, but I think we can propose that.
Okay. Okay.
Is that okay?
Let me make sure that I understand. What you're willing to do is to go to a 65-foot lot. When you came in here, what was it, last September?
Last month.
Well, last month, we were requesting 50-foot lot last.
No, but before that,
Oh, there was
the
75.
50-foot lots were not ever, when you came in to get approval
Yes,
a
sir.
year ago for this development,
Oh,
what size were the lots?
there were 75-foot lots.
And how many were there?
I believe their approval was 356, is that right, Tommy?
Yeah, 356.
Yes, sir.
How many?
356.
350, and you want to go to how many now?
So it looks like it's
478. 478.
478, minus
So it's,
3 or 4 lots.
Right.
that's about a 30% increase, right?
Yes, sir. It's very comparable to the south track, 65 foot, and then to the north are apartments. So, we feel like it's a good, well, it's the same, really, it's the same to the south, so we're just continuing.
And the reason that you came in a year ago with 75-foot lots rather than coming in with 65 at that time was why?
We wanted to, he's asking.
Mike.
I'm so sorry. We've changed the product we were going to put in there. We're going to continue with what we have in Taylor Lakes over to the 65s, and it's just more conducive with the 65.
And like I said last month, the house product is the same as it was on the 75, it is on the 65. So the square footage of the product is the same. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So it's, like I said, it's just,
It'll be a continuation of what we're building in Taylor Lakes right down the street.
and we're just trying to make it a little bit more.
Your per lot is gonna be a little less at the end of the day.
Which we can share with the potential
that's good business.
It also gives them more marketing to the.
Yeah, and there's
extra
this
20,000.
this type of housing is needed.
Allow other people to purchase homes.
Any further questions from the Planning Commission? Any questions from the audience? Motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Does this motion include the extension?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, with the extension,
Okay.
all the way to
Oh,
East
yeah, with the
Street
extension, right,
to,
yeah.
Extension of C to E.
Street C already.
yeah, C to E.
Got it.
Gonna lose, what,
Can I-
two,
can I
two,
show-
two, 4 lots? Is that right?
Yeah.
You're gonna lose 4 lots?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Okay.
All those in favor?
6,
All those opposed?
1. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Larry Speaks and Associates representing Timothy Rudder and Catherine Rudder requesting to rezone property containing 5.12 acres on the south side of East Fleming Road, as known as 110 East Fleming Road, from M1 and FH to an M1 district.
Hi, Paul McClendon with Larry Speaks and Associates. As Tanya said, we're requesting to rezone a 3-acre parcel that is historic construction plat number 1, as well as 2.12 additional acres to the south to M1. Property is currently zoned M1 and partially flood hazard.
Pull your mic up to you just a little bit. You can pull it, it'll come up closer to you. Pull the whole thing up. Should come up. There you go.
All right. So we're basically requesting to rezone a portion of Star Construction Plat No. 1, as well as an additional 2.12 acres behind the property. The owner is looking to basically build a metal storage building on that additional 2 acres, and in order to make it a contiguous lot, we need to get the zoning correct.
Any questions from the Planning Commission? Any questions from the audience? Motion's in order.
Move to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Unanimous.
Approved.
Next
Thank you.
item is the development plan for this same location.
Again, Paul McClendon, Larry Speaks and Associates. The development plan is basically the 10,000 square foot metal storage building. We'll have a gravel driveway with a concrete apron out front. The building will be used to store equipment, basically. I'll be glad to answer any questions. We will meet the city's flood ordinance with the project as well.
I'm sorry, what was the last part?
We will meet the city's flood ordinance.
Any questions from the Planning Commission? Any questions from the audience? Public hearings occurred.
Last item is Larry Speaks and Associates representing Timothy Rudder and Catherine Rudder. This is the plat for the same property as y'all just heard.
As Tanya mentioned, it is the same property. It's the original 3-acre Star Construction Plat No. 1, Lot A, with an additional 2.12 acres to the south. We're requesting the plat in the one lot.
Any questions from the Planning Commission? Any questions from the audience? Motion's in order.
Move to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's all we got.
Good job. Got time for
We're adjourned.
Adjourn.